All right, so let's get into it. We're going to be going over a couple games that we really like coming off the Monday night, Sunday night, and Thursday night football schedule. Good sir, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I can go first here. You know what? Just looking down this schedule of just all the primetime games, it took me a minute to find one that was interesting for Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football's schedule this year, I don't know. It's kind of a dud. There's not a lot of really sexy games that stand out to me, and I don't know if you feel the same, but
I do. I just think.
Plus, I can't stand their broadcast either. I'm not a big fan.
I just think that there are so many divisional matchups this year, and I don't know if that's like a new thing or if I'm just oblivious to that.
It's kind of just low hanging fruit, you know.
Is.
It's just
really
it's layups like broadcasts, like everyone will kind of tune in for those, just because the later in the season, especially because it depends on the seeding of the playoffs, and I don't know. It's always classic rivalry. So
yeah.
But the first game I did want to talk about is a Monday Night Football game. And we're not going in chronological order here or anything week by week, but just a couple we liked.
Yeah.
That would be the 49ers versus the LA Rams, Monday Night Football, week 10 at LA. And the reason that I think this one's exciting is the Rams seem to have a couple of primetime games this year because of the new stadium, because of, I assume, Stafford to a degree.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of buzz. Their defense is great. They're clearly a playoff favorite team, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Niners and Rams are the cream of the crop of this division. Like, I know Seattle kind of always finds a way to get in, and the Cardinals are interesting, but these two teams, for me, they're the cream of the crop. They're the best, and this is going to be at a point in the year where like they're going to be fighting for that number one like seed in their division. And this also could be a situation where, since it's a little bit later, we could be seeing Trey Lance come in and play. So this one really stood out to me as far as like these Monday Night Football matchups.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's good that LA has a lot of those primetime games this year because, I mean, Stafford was not getting the spotlight when he was in Detroit, rightfully so. I mean, we suck. So
I was just talking about this with someone the other day that Stafford going to LA, he like every single week he's going to be going through the gauntlet. He's going to have he's a lot of these weeks he's going to be like put under the microscope of a really tough matchup, and like whether they win or lose it's really going to be looked on him quite a bit because they traded so much to get him, and obviously quarterback is such a huge part of the NFL, but just he's as a Lion, he really wasn't in these spots very much. It was kind of just go out 1:00 on Sunday, carry the team, do your best, try and get a win. Now it's like, okay, get a win every week.
Yeah,
where we want to go to the playoffs.
Not to go further down this tangent, but I feel like he is one of those players that is heavily discussed on whether or not he'll be a Hall of Famer because he does have some very impressive stats, but of course, you know, people downgrade it because he's never won a playoff game. He's never done this. He's never done that.
Well, just big games in general for Stafford is a question mark. I mean, as Lions fans, we know that a lot of times when they would play the big games, they came up short. And he did as much as he could in some of those games. Other games, who knows? Like,
it's going to be – so I think that this year is his, like, make or break year, which is crazy to say because he's how many years into his career.
Right.
But yeah, it's just such a critical point now for him because, I mean, if he comes out and lights the world on fire, he is going to be like regarded as like one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
And for the record, I'm all for that. I want him to succeed.
Absolutely.
But you have to ask yourself, especially us Lions fans, you have to ask yourselves the question, do we think that he can step up in these big games this late in the year? Lucas, what's your first game you want to break down?
I'm actually going to go over two, and I just find it so funny. I feel like the first 3 games on Thursday Night Football, not including the season opener, which is on NBC, but the first 3 Thursday Night Football games are all on NFL Network, and I feel like year after year after year, they just get shafted with these games because after week 4 it's then aired on Fox and Amazon Prime and all these other places, but before then it's
not confusing
NFL
at all.
Network.
It's not confusing at all.
It's all NFL Network for the first 3 weeks. They get Washington versus Dallas. Good game.
That
should be a good game. Second week is Houston versus Carolina. how is that a primetime game?
It's horrendous. That's a horrendous primetime.
The only logical reason as to why they are putting either one of these teams on primetime is Sam Darnold now being in Carolina.
I guess I would say Carolina is absolutely the bigger draw of these two teams because Houston's a dumpster fire. And they have Darnold, they have Matt Rule, they have McCaffrey. They have some things, I guess. But my question is this are we thinking about this game with Deshaun Watson playing?
Great question. I don't think we can answer that right now.
Because that makes it much more watchable. But I'm kind of operating under the assumption that he probably won't be playing. He'll be missing some significant time, I'm feeling like at this point.
Yeah, who knows? He played last year, and they were still pretty unwatchable.
Yeah.
So
except in that Thanksgiving game, they lit it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was unwatchable because they were playing us. And then week 4, on paper, this game didn't seem great, but now that I'm thinking about it, it probably actually will be pretty good. Cincinnati versus Jacksonville.
I thought about that game too. Yeah, I thought about writing that one down. Just obviously, it's a marquee matchup with the number 1 overall picks playing against each other. But
yeah,
Bengals are interesting right now.
Yeah, arguably the 2 best college quarterbacks to come out of college football in a long time.
You really think that you're like that sold on Burrow, even though his sample size last year was smaller?
So I'm not saying Burrow in the NFL. I'm saying Burrow in college.
Okay.
He was arguably one of the best. He only had 1 year, but it was the greatest quarterback season of all time.
Okay.
I mean, the guy was hands down the best player in college football that year by far. And then you have Trevor Lawrence, who, I mean, we all know who Trevor Lawrence is. So, I like the week 4 matchup. The week 3 matchup is just absolutely horrendous.
Well, let's keep it in week 4. I think ultimately this is the best matchup of not only week 4, but arguably the whole season. Tampa Bay travels to Foxborough Sunday Night Football to play against the Patriots. Tom Brady comes home for what could be the last time in his career on the playing field. You never know. Obviously Tampa's the Super Bowl, reigning champ, and New England has had a very intriguing offseason, and it's going to be really surreal to see Tom playing against Bill Belichick.
It is.
It's going to be very weird. It's going to be
a phenomenal game too.
Oh yeah.
You know that those 2 teams are going to go out and kill each other to get the win.
And I've been to Foxborough. I've been to a couple games out in New England, and that place, when it's a game like that, like I saw them play the Chiefs 2 years ago, that place is rocking on Sunday night. It is. Absolutely. It's going to be with Tom coming back. It's going to be unbelievable. What's going to be
so interesting is how does Foxborough welcome him back?
If you're asking me to bet on it right now, I'm going to say they're going to welcome him back with open arms.
Okay.
Because he's the greatest of all time. He's the savior of that team.
I mean, he brought him 6 Super Bowls. Yeah. How can you boo that guy?
And with Gronk coming back too. I mean,
What if he puts up 28 in the first quarter? They start booing him then, right?
Well, the Harpoon beer sales are going to go through the roof at that point in the Sam Adams. But no, it's going to be an awesome game. I can't wait to watch this one. It's going to be really good.
I think a sensational game on Sunday Night Football is going to be Kansas City versus Baltimore once again. Those matchups are always fun to watch.
I'm kind of over this one, man.
Yeah?
I don't know. And it's weird because last week's show, I was the one kind of defending Lamar a little bit, and you're the one who was taking a giant crap on him. And for me, this isn't an interesting matchup for me anymore because Kansas City is going to win.
Yeah, the Chiefs do own them.
The Chiefs own them. It's no competition.
Hear me out. This is week 2, so it's super early on in the season.
It's even better then because Andy Reid is a force to be reckoned with in the first 4 weeks.
So right.
He always tears it up.
I thought maybe there was a chance, the Chiefs don't have everything figured out, but in all reality, it's actually probably going to be the other way around, where Baltimore doesn't have everything figured out.
Yeah,
I run up the score on them.
I anticipated more so Andy Reid taking the last couple months here to really soak in the Super Bowl and what happened, and then he's going to light everything on fire when they get back
for the first 8 weeks.
That's what I think is going to happen.
I think that's completely possible, actually.
So sorry to take a dump on your matchup there, but
reason will prevail.
Reason will prevail.
It did right there. So,
well, let's keep it with KC then. because I have another matchup here featuring the Chiefs. It's Week 10 Sunday Night Football. Las Vegas Raiders versus Kansas City. I believe it's at Kansas City. This is a much more interesting matchup in my head because the last couple Vegas, Raiders, Vegas, Oakland, whatever. Mm-hmm. Last couple Raiders Chiefs games, especially last season, were pretty spicy. They were pretty high scoring games, and the Raiders actually got a win in one of them.
Yeah, at
Arrowhead, and they kind of crumbled down the stretch, obviously. But
of course,
if everything is all systems go with the Raiders and the Chiefs are just doing what they do, like this is going to be another high powered offensive show, and it's always good TV with them. I feel like.
What week is that?
That's Week 10, Sunday Night Football.
Well, if history is doomed to repeat itself, I would think that Oakland's probably going to be coming off the tracks at that point.
Well, they need to not.
Yeah.
they need to make this a different year. A couple shows ago, we kind of talked about it. I was just saying with them, it's go time for the Raiders. They really need to, it's year 4 or 5 for John Gruden at this point on a 10-year deal. There's no more excuses anymore.
They got to start producing some results.
So around Week 10, they better still be competitive. And if they're not, I would make a bet that they're going to be facing some big changes.
Speaking of the Las Vegas Raiders, I actually have their Monday Night Football game on Week 1 in here against Baltimore. So I have 2 Baltimore games.
Wow, okay. Really feeling Baltimore today.
I think that this is a game that Las Vegas needs to come out and win handedly. And I'm not saying they need to win by 35 points, but they need to be in control of the game the entire time because of every single reason that you just said. They need to have a good season, probably get the wild card because, how can you get the division over the Chiefs?
You're probably not.
Yeah, just doesn't seem realistic. But this is where it starts. Huge win over Baltimore. You know that they're going to have a super competitive division. Who knows if they win it or not? But then you have that upper hand with them if it does come down to that.
Since Lamar has been the starter in Baltimore, have they come out the gates hot and kind of just gotten worse down the stretch, in the playoffs, obviously, or what's kind of been
the year he won the MVP? I think they were undefeated for a long time, or not undefeated, but one loss deep into the season.
It's a good matchup because these are 2 teams that are in a pretty similar spot. They got a lot to prove right now, and the Ravens probably have a little less to prove than the Raiders because they
made the playoffs. They've had a good run, but they did get bounced when they were probably picked to go to the Super Bowl.
Right. So it's a high profile primetime matchup Week 1. It's interesting. It's a Monday Night Football broadcast. What's Sunday night Week 1? This isn't something neither one of us picked.
Sunday night is Rams Bears.
They put that garbage over the Ravens game? Really? On Sunday Night Football?
The Rams and Bears?
That seems like a much worse game to me.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Dude, that's Stafford's first game in a Rams jersey. He's going to light those guys up.
Well, Andy Dalton's going to be on the other side.
Who cares?
Everybody wants to watch that.
Everybody wants to see Stafford succeed.
The Bears.
And you know what, man? Doing it against the Bears, I could not have asked for a better matchup.
I guess for the Rams, he'll just be like, "Nah, guys, I've done this before. I'll show you what to do." But,
yeah, and I just wanted to see him put them in the dirt.
That would be great.
Yeah.
But the only thing I'm saying is that we're going to have to watch Andy Dalton and that miserable Bears offense.
I'm fine with that. Don't you want to watch the Bears fail?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Well,
against us, but in a way it is against us because Stafford's always going to be a Detroit Lions.
It's a good way to frame it. Okay. All right.
Did you just go?
Well, I kind of just interjected with a random game because I was.
That's right. Yeah, I was talking about Monday. Okay.
I will say my next one though. This one is Week 12, Thursday Night Football. The Bills versus the Saints. I think this is a really interesting game, especially considering what the Saints quarterback situation will be at that point in the year. Because day 1, who knows? But week 12, who really knows? That could be the Jameis Winston show by then. You never know. And Buffalo obviously finished last year as one of the most entertaining teams to watch in the league, and they're just they are primed for a good year this year. They're up there as a Super Bowl contender team. Like, I don't think there's any question of that right now. And the Saints have a lot of questions around them. Mm-hmm. But they kind of like the Seahawks. They kind of just always find a way to do it and get it done. And I guess the only difference is in the past they've had Drew Brees. They don't have Drew Brees anymore.
And they do not.
So I think it's just a really interesting matchup on several levels. I think the timing of it during the calendar year is like, it's going to make it even better because it's going to be kind of midway, a little over midway of the season.
I totally agree. I think that would be super interesting. My last game is Sunday Night Football once again, Week 7. And I just think that this is going to be a really entertaining game to watch. Or maybe not so much entertaining, but like a really good football game. It's San Francisco versus the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised you picked this one.
Yeah, I just think that's exactly what I'm looking for in a primetime game. Two teams that I don't get to see play that often, but are two good teams.
Who do you think's the quarterback at that point
for San Francisco?
For San Francisco, yeah. So I think Wentz is a lock for the whole year if he stays healthy. Like, I don't think they're going to.
I guess so, yeah. Week 7.
That's right in that prime window.
If he's healthy, I think Garoppolo's in there still.
I would say the same. I think he'll be the starter of the whole year if he's healthy.
Yeah.
But he won't because he never is. Mm-hmm. So it's only a matter of when will Trey Lance come in. He's going to come in. I would. Is that a bet? Is that a wager I can make on some sports betting app? When will Trey Lance start?
I don't know. I'll have to look into that.
Because I would definitely put some bucks on that.
Interesting.
My last game is Thursday Night Football, Week 16. And it's a Saturday night broadcast. I think it's around Christmas, so that's probably why. And it's the Green Bay Packers versus the Cleveland Browns. And I don't know if I said this before on the show, but I really enjoy Baker Mayfield. Okay, yeah. So I'm a big fan of Baker. I'm a big fan of Baker. Yeah. I wish the Lions had him. And I like Cleveland a lot. I think that they were really fun to watch last year, and I think that they're definitely trending upwards. Man, the AFC has so many teams, like so many good teams.
A ton.
And I think it's interesting with the Packers because I think now that the dust has settled a little bit and it seems like Aaron Rodgers is probably going to be there. To me, it seems that way. I don't know.
I mean, after signing Blake Bortles and that other chump.
There's no, don't read
They got Jordan Love too. They have 3 quarterbacks on the roster now. 4 if you're including Rodgers.
Well, I think it seems like Rodgers will be there because there's been reports that he's been like people that he regularly talks to have like old teammates and stuff have come on TV and said, it seems like it can be repaired. So I think it's going to be repaired. And I think he's going to be playing Week 16 versus the Browns. So I think it's just going to be a really high scoring, fun game late in the year. And I hope the Browns just like find a way to just stick that dagger in them and keep them from getting the number 1 seed in the NFC or God forbid, keep them out of the playoffs would be even better. But just to see Cleveland take them down late in the year would be a lot of fun.
That would be. But yeah, man, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers is a huge question mark in my book right now, especially after Green Bay signing those 2 quarterbacks. I was fully with you up until they signed those 2 quarterbacks. After that,
they don't mean anything.
There's
Blake Bortles and who's the other one?
I don't know, some chump.
I mean, if anything, it would mean, in my eyes, because I bet you Aaron Rodgers said, I'll stay, but I want an extension, and I want Jordan Love gone.
That's such an Aaron Rodgers thing to say,
because that's what Brady did to Garoppolo.
Yeah,
so
that's so true. Oh, my Lord.
2 more quarterbacks in the room. Okay, well, one of them will be the backup, and Jordan Love, we're just going to hit the eject button and get what we can for him.
Yeah.
That's what I see, but who knows? It's still kind of a mystery.
Man, what a thought.
I think it's going to get fixed with them. I really do.